Hi, this is Daniel Chang for Mech and Vehicle, and this week we're going to take the orthographic view that we did last week with the photo bashing, and we're going to now turn this image uh, into 3D by bringing this image into SketchUp and then extruding from it. Now, there are limitations as to what you can really do. Um, in general, big blocky forms are preferable if we're going to do this. So that's what I would recommend, like we kind of make it squarish, more like a construction vehicle and less like oh, I don't know, something like a Porsche or some, round thing. Okay. But in any case, I'm going to bring this in. Now, before we do that, we don't want to bring in like a mega huge image necessarily. We could bring in something a little bit smaller. So I'm going to, first of all, just select the area as much, as little as I can. And I'm going to deselect this top part a little bit. Basically, I want this file to be as minimal size as I can make it. So something like that. You do kind of still want a little bit around the borders just in case, but make sure that you put it on, say, this kind of grayish background too. Um and you can make that a little darker too to kind of match. And what that the reason for that is just in case you need to select outside of this silhouette, uh, it's not just white, you know. Any case, I'm going to now take this and hit Control Shift C. Now that I've got this part selected, Control Shift C, that copies everything that is visible, and then I hit Control N, which creates a new file, and then I hit Control V, and that pastes the image. Now you can merge this down by hitting Control E. That merges down. And now I want to look at my image size. In general, what I'll do is I'll change the resolution down to about 150 instead of 300, and then hit OK, and you can immediately see this thing shrunken down a little bit. And then I'm going to save this. Save on my computer, and I'll send it. So, yeah, but you do want to save it as a JPEG image so that we can keep it as compressed as we can. And I'm gonna call this stapler uh, ship uh, texture small, something like that. Okay. And then hit save. And yeah, about 8 on the fidelity is fine. And hit OK. And now we can close this part out from Photoshop and close out Photoshop. Because having too many things open at once is going to put a strain on your computer, and your computer might end up crashing on you if you're not careful. So now we want to bring it into SketchUp. So I noticed that now when I search for SketchUp for web, it brings me to a tutorial page instead. So I'm just gonna look up SketchUp. And I'm just gonna click on SketchUp, see if it shows up here. Nope. Let's see. SketchUp, free web-based SketchUp, and click on that. Yes. So that brings us to this page, which they kind of replace that image with the cabinet now, but now I can go to start modeling, and hopefully it automatically logs me in. As you can see, I've actually gone through this project already and did a few things. Um, but what I want y'all to do if you have your if you have your 3D file that, from our from our previous SketchUp tutorial, I want y'all to just open up that cockpit demo 3D file thing. Okay. Let's see. Can we actually, no, let's go to home. Let's see if we could copy that file. Let's see. Yeah. Duplicate. Yeah. Duplicate that file. Boom, boom. And what's the new duplicate called? Cockpit 021. Okay, let's see. Rename that to something like uh stapler ship. Uh um okay, 01. Something like that. Stapler ship 01. Oh wait, I already used that name. Stapler ship 02 then. Hit OK. All right. I'm gonna click on stick. It's so funny. I'm so used to my naming convention that it popped up just the same. So I'm gonna come in and just delete these little cards that we've got here. Cool. And let's also just grab everything here and group it. Okay. Why did I do that? Well, otherwise I would have to make a model on a separate file and then copy this file into that file. In which case I'm just like, well, let's just like, make the rest of the ship in the same file as my cockpit file, right? Any case, yeah, so that's what we're doing. Um, Before I do that, I just want to make sure I put in a box. Why? Because I want this thing to be brought in on a I know it's a side view, so I want it brought in on the side plane here so that everything kind of lines up. All right. Now I come up here to the menu and go to import my device. Go to my device, and then I find that texture I just made, the stapler ship texture small. Yep. Yeah, I hit open. And let's say I want to bring it in as an image, which I'll turn into a material. I guess I could try to bring it in as a material as well. I mean, that's, you know, same difference in some ways. Uh, Wait, why is it not? Okay, so uh, maybe I should have brought it in as an image. I don't know. Yeah. Is it looking for something for me to place it onto? Here, let's bring it in as as an image then instead. That was weird. Okay. Thought I'd try something new and then it didn't work. Okay. Import my device, bring that in, hit open. Let's bring it as an image instead. Click, and then now we get to make it big. So, how big do you want it? Let's make it like really big for now. And then we could shrink it afterwards if we wanted to, for sure. But I don't know. Basically, I want it about as big as I could fit this thing into it, right? And it's not going to fit perfectly into it, and so we've got some contingency plans that we're going to do to make it fit into it. Oh yeah, that thing. I don't want that thing here. All right, cool. Let me see here. Now that I've got it kind of pasted on side plane, I don't really need the block anymore, so I just deleted that. And then I'm going to right click on this and explode it. And now I can, cut it out and then extrude, right? So that's how I'm going to do that. So now we spend the next few minutes here just kind of cutting it. And you could see in some spots here, I did not actually line up the thing perfectly. Feel kind of bad about it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, what you gonna do? Um, you, in general, you want it lined up perfectly. So let's try to do it. Um, Kind of what I mean is it being like a perfect horizontal, kind of like this, whereas the top was kind of slanted there. You kind of want it more just, you know, perfectly vertical, perfectly horizontal, like so. Yeah, I'm gonna do that here, and I'm gonna cut it out without the landing gear first. And then I'm going to do another pass. Oh, okay, the back though, I do want a little bit of a slant to it. So I'm just going to click there. And it's important that we start this thing off kind of blocky, meaning I know we've got all these cool round edges, but I think I'm just going to start it off making it blocky because then I have I have more in SketchUp, if it's aligned 90 degrees, it allows me to push pull on it and edit it a little bit better. So any case, got this as a straight line here, and then I don't know. I'll probably end up cutting this part out, but let's just put this in as with the slant first, like that. Um, I could make the front of this kind of, more sci-fi, I guess. I could do that. Let's try it. Kind of got this, I don't know, what do you call that? Uh, I don't know, this shape maybe. Yeah. So you might be wondering, why aren't you selecting perfectly against it? Well, I think of it more as a starting point, honestly. And then from there we will uh so I kind of closed that off. So now I can copy from this, Control C and then Control V. And oh shoot, I want it also lined up completely 90 degrees if I can. Oh, I shouldn't have deleted that block, huh? Well, maybe line it up there. Yeah, I could take all this and just move it down. Because I'm not entirely sure if my scale's 100% right either. So let's take a look here. Where this cockpit's gonna go is probably somewhere around here-ish. Ish-ish, I'm thinking. I'm just trying to guesstimate here. It'll probably go around there, right? And so from here, I'm just going to push pull this out a bit so that it, you know, gets a little wider there. And we can also, you know, cut pieces out of it so that our thing can fit. Um, Case in point, let's do that right now. So like, let's say for example, if I cut out this and kind of made a straight line across, hopefully that seals this. Yeah, it does. Right, so what that does is now if I push pull here, you know, I could bring it to that midpoint on my cockpit here. And I've cut out a bit of a hole for this. And then if I wanted to, I can, you know, fill this part in if I wanted to, but I don't know. Um, see as we go what we do. Yeah, so I could push pull on this part too till it fits. But I just kind of wanted to cut out a little bit of a notch. And the reason why you want the notch cut out is because otherwise it would just embed itself right into the interior of this thing, right? And so at some point they're going to jam into each other is the idea here. Okay? And I mean that's a reasonable size. It also might be a little big, but yeah, uh, let's try it for now. It's a big spaceship. That's fine. All right. Now, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make this turbine looking thing, and I'm going to erase out that line so that I can draw like and cut that thing out, right? So I want to take this in two pieces. I want to make this outer casing separate from the inside there. So I'm just gonna cut this out, kind of outline around it. This is, as I've told y'all many times before, a dirty, dirty way to work. But that's fine. Control C, Control V. Oh, shoot. It's got to do that thing again, huh? Wait, hold on. Let's group this so that, it won't get all sticky onto it. Okay, now let's do it. Control C, Control V. It needs something, a surface of some sort to stick onto, which we'll put it around here. And I just kind of wanted it to be a separate object. That way I can move it around later if I wanted to, or duplicate it as I did with the bottom part there. And that way I don't have to reselect everything over again. All right, so I've got that casing part. As you can see, all the textures on the front here too are all stretched. We'll eventually retexture it so that we kind of get a equivalent grayish texture, orange texture, dark gray texture. So I'm just gonna make this a component and call it what turbine casing or something. Turbine casing. Okay, cool. Hit OK. And this, I don't know. We'll once we kind of get our pieces aligned, we'll put all that together, I think. Okay. All right, so now I want this thing. How do I get this thing so that I get like a circular? Yeah. So that's the tricky part now. I wonder if I should have gone back and separated my original turbine so that I get the whole thing. Hmm. Let's see. We could try it a few different ways, but the first way would be just to kind of cut this out from the original, like so. And this is not a perfect cut, obviously. It's it's still kind of in this like weird 3D concept phase where I don't know, things aren't gonna be like 100% clean, you know? Control C, Control V. You have to be kind of okay with that. It's so now I've got this kind of cut out here. And I think my main task here is to just get this middle part really nice. So let's try that first, okay? I'm going to draw a line going vertical, perfectly vertical, going up and down there. Going to draw another line, kind of going vertical up and down here. See what happens. Control C, and then Control V. All right. So you could see how I'm cutting out this thing, almost like a butcher. Right. So I kind of just wanted to make it so that I can cut a cylinder out of this thing if I can. Let's see. So this part, let's trim it so that we can get a perfectly straight line coming off of. Whoa, what happened? Yeah, okay. This going vertical, and I want it to. So this is the problem part where it's like, oh, the turbine's covering it. Eh, I'm just gonna patch this up for now. And I'm just gonna erase out. Notice how when I kind of erase this part out, it brings back that old texture, which is cool, you know. There. All right. So I've got this cube that I want to turn into a cylinder now. And I'm going to try this. I don't know if it'll work. This is experiment time. Okay, I'm going to make a circle on this stretchy plane right here. And hopefully it'll let me do that. And again, when you make a circle, you want to kind of make it along one of these axes so that your axes will line up. And let's say there. Okay, cool. Let's see if it works. All right, push pull. Yes. Check that baby out. Look at that. I push pulled it and it actually gave me a cylindrical piece there. All right. Do I want to press my luck? Let's try it. Yes. Oh, that is cool. All right. So what I did was, I'll show you. I hit control and that puts in the add whatchamacallit, the add extrusion thing. And so it made a line there. And so what that does is it allows me now to edit this if I wanted to. So I can move this to the edge here. And let's see if this will work. I'm not even sure. This might break shit. I don't know. It works. It worked. Look at that. I just shrank that circle and it kind of stretched it and tapered it. Okay. Let's see if I can push it back or forward in any way. Yeah, kind of like it where it was. Cool. All right. It's not going to be a perfect extrusion. Like, I'm not going to go in and get all those little, what do you call them? Those little holes. Um, you know, again, I'm just trying to trying to get the minimum amount of 3D stuff going here for now. All right, so now I'm just going to do the offset tool here, and I'm just going to push pull this until I go in, right, to this thing to the point where, there was like the turbine-y thing. And then we're going to pick a bright, glowy type color if we can. So I'm just gonna click on that. See if we could go to, let's see, colors. Yeah, go to colors and let's pick like this bright orange and put that there. Check that out. Fire, right? Am I right? Cool. So I basically turned a cube into a cylinder, right? Doing this. And let's try out that front part. I'm gonna do the push pull, but it's like push pull plus, so it draws a line right there. And let's see if we can, yeah, continue this. So it push pulls like that. Oh wait, what happened to our push pull plus? Oh shoot, yeah, if I Oh, I know. I go to the bucket tool here. I select this texture and I just put the same texture on this. And now I can shrink this part kind of like what we have here where it kind of goes in a little bit like that. Cool. And then let's pick like a dark texture for the front of it. We're not ever going to see it, but let's just do that. Cool. So now I've got a cool little turbine thing, right? I wonder. Oh yeah, cool. I got the inside texture. All I did was I selected this and then paint bucketed on there. You could see it does a twinning thing up on top and it's all stretched and ugly, but on the side view, it looks meh. All right. All right, so we don't need this thing now, so we just select that, delete it, grab this, and we will turn this into a component and just call it turbine. The other one was turbine casing. This is turbine 01, and then create. Bop, 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 bop. How cool was that? That it actually worked and it wasn't all weird and stretched and ugly. Because that could have happened too. I don't know. Um, I'm kind of experimenting here, right, as I go. All right, so this part, I don't know what the distance is going to be between, the middle and I guess some weird artifact edges here that I can delete. All right, so at least what we know here is we've got our sort of center thing, our little thruster thing, and the whatever that turbine thing is. And what's cool about keeping these separate pieces is I can like make one that's, I don't know, sticking out more and the other one, it's not locked, right? It's not locked to any particular distance. Like for example, if we wanted to make the one on the bottom there much smaller, we could, you know. That way we have more room for our landing gear. All right. But you could see it's starting to take shape, you know. The other piece I want to extract from this would be this wing. So let's do that right now. Ba-da-da-da. So I'm just going to select from here. The key thing when you're doing this as well is, depending on what axis I'm drawing it on, you don't want it sticking towards you, right? You just want it like at all times, you want the axis to be just planted right on this texture. And what happens sometimes as you're selecting around it is it goes like, oh, you want to, stick forward or back, and then you're like, you know, so you got to watch for the color of the axis sometimes. All right, so I've got this. You know, I might want to keep that. I don't know what this is called, but I might want to keep this as a separate piece now that I think about it. You know, why? Well, because if I do, I can make that a cylinder and I can make this, a nice flat triangle. Control C, all right, Control V. Now, Bob Ross is right sometimes. Sometimes you do get some fun little happy accidents. And I think as artists, our job is just to embrace those little happy accidents when we encounter it. So, anyways, I just wanted to copy and paste that and extrude it, triple click, make it a group. And, but yeah, that might be an idea. Maybe we can make three ship designs out of this. Because like I had mentioned previously to y'all, when you get hired as a concept artist, you're there to just supply them inundate them with idea after idea. That's your job, right? And some if I just provided like one design and go like, here, make this, they're not going to be too happy with that. I'm going to copy this part now. And I'm going to try to stick it on the end of this thing. Paste. And then going to extrude out. And I'm going to try to attempt that same trick again that I did last time, where extrude it out and then I, you know, make it as a cylinder instead of a square. Hopefully this will work. The trick here is not to go over, but just make it under that. And the reason why is because if it starts crossing over, then it's just gonna cut. So, as you can see, it kind of cut it in two pieces right now. Well, let's see. Let's see if I can even do this. Shoot. Okay, yeah, all the way down. Boom. Come on. It's like right about there. Cut. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna group this now. All right. So now that we've got that, I do want the end of this thing to kind of round out a little bit. Even if it's not a complete round thing, we could at least make it kind of point in-ish a little bit like that. A little. And if we're not happy with that, like we could always just make this whole thing orange, right? So we can always just grab all that. And remember that big orange turbine color we got here? Just use that and color it here. So the front of it might have a glowy effect as well. Okay. And now what we can do is we can actually enlarge this as a whole so that it jams into it, even though this size is slightly different from what we initially had. But what's also cool is now I can actually like move it forward and back depending on what we need. So I don't know. Maybe that was a little too large, but let's try. Let me try this. Bring it back. I just kind of push pulled it a bit, brought it back. So that's kind of a nice little wing asset right now. If I group these two together, I can do that too. Uh, make make a group out of that. All right, I think. Oh wait, the landing gear. That's a big. That's a big. That's a big one right here. You can see this landing gear. That's really complicated to select out, but we can try it. You just kind of take it a piece at a time. Make sure that you kind of select it on the axis if you can. Oh, what happened? Okay, there we put it on the green. And I just want to select the silhouette first, like everything outside first. If I can. It starts getting like real pixelated, but I don't know. Just kind of embrace the what you're really trying to do is create an interesting shape. And what I could also do if I wanted to later is come in and just cut in all the little holes in there too. But for now, let's just try to get the general shape because what we want to do at first is just to kind of get a sense of the big shapes and what the whole darn thing will look like, when we put them together. So Control C. I just selected the outside, and then I'm gonna Control V, stick it right there for now, and just extrude it out just about as thick as I think a landing gear should be. And then triple click on it, make that into a group, and we could put that wherever we want. We could put it underneath this thing, you know, and we could also put it up front if we wanted to. Like that. Oh, as you can see, I've got my first dilemma, right? This landing gear up front is much, so maybe we just push it up, you know? Who knows? Yeah. You want it, you don't want, the front of it necessarily to be that much larger, right? Um, all right, so now let's select all these elements here. Our landing gear, our turbine, our wing. But don't select the cockpit because we've already made the cockpit all symmetrical and nice. So I've got this, and let's just turn this into a component now. Make component, and just call it stapler ship 1. And here's where the magic will start happening is we now take that component, duplicate it the way I did that, hit control and then moved it. And now I flip it on its side until it hits -1. And now I can move this until that that vertice snaps to this one. And now we can start seeing, what this thing kind of looks like all put together. And we could immediately see some things that we need to correct, right? Well, one thing, for example, is this looks really fat right now, right? Which is, you know, we could just fix that, right away. We could even fix this so that it kind of sticks out like so, right? And then we could, I don't know, we could center this if we wanted to a bit. And maybe our third, whatever, the turbine thing that we have, we could, well, we can make it outside of our, we could just stick it, you know, outside of our thing. But yeah, at this point, all I really want now is to get the proportions relatively there. One thing that, of course, bugs me is just how thick this fin is, but that's easy enough to fix. You just draw a line from that vertice down to maybe about there. And now this is, cut so that we can extrude and make that fin more like that wing, right? And also because we have some of these things like for example this thingy right here, we can hit Control C, um, and well, if we put it here, it's going to duplicate and going to make two things there. So you have to copy it outside the group. So Control X, cut it out. Outside the group, I want a, you know, one of these things, maybe. I don't know what they're called. They're just kind of like a little addition to the, and you can make it whatever size you want. You can shrink it down. Maybe lower it down to extrude it. That's about how long it was previous. So now we've got that added element, even though it wasn't in our original painting, but now we've got these pieces in place. We can do what we want, rearranging things. So, like, for example, I don't know, we've got that third turbine there. Let's try to Control C. I want it dead center. So I want it outside of our duplicating components. And I also want to flip it upside down so that, and maybe it'll be a little smaller too, because that's pretty big right now. So let's shrink it. And we got our landing gear, so that's an issue, right? So I'm just gonna scoot it up in a way where, yeah, I don't know, you don't want it to scrape along the ground. So something ish like that. Not sure. Maybe we can make this part fatter and wider like that. And then make this part a little bit bigger again, but up. I don't know. What does that look? How's that look? I don't know. Got one, three turbo thingies in the back. You could, I suppose, if you wanted to, duplicate that. make 4. That might be kind of fun, right? That might be fun to do. It looks like a spaceship-y thing. But, oh, I can make this maybe more inset, like that. And as well as this guy too. So that, we've got 2 dominant ones and 2 sort of secondary ones like that. See? Cool. I dig it. Um, get this thing to this state where it's just kind of blocked out in a general shape for now, and then we'll come in and fix some of the stretchy textures, and then also after that get some variants going because the variants are going to be kind of fun to do because we've done most of the work. I see this thing's like jammed. It looks like a mistake, so I'm just gonna not like that. I wanted to jam it in sideways like that. Yes. However large it's going to have to come in under that size if we can. It's fine. It matches it, sort of. Cool. And then, oh, also we've got to, you know, texture this thing so it kind of fits in and better integrated into the design as well. Next, right? But let's save. Very important. And it says, do you want to purge unused items? Just say yes. And when we come back, we'll you know kind of wrap up this 3D modeling part, and then maybe later get some variations. All right. Thanks.